It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 30. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, April 30th, 2023, the last Sunday in April. We're about to get to a whole new month, but we're going to finish this month out strong with a podcast. So welcome to the show. I hope you're doing great out there. This is the 30th episode of the Dep Lewis Show, number 30, the 30th installment, the 30th try, the 30th effort. So hopefully this is going to be a great podcast today. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you've had a good week out in the world, out in the normal world, in the video game world, whatever other world you live in. I hope it's been going great. Hope you have some positive things happening out there. And just welcome to the damn show. So we're going to start off with some housekeeping today like we always do. I'm always trying to boss you around here at the start and at the end. But this is very important. Please follow the Dep Lewis Show. Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review. Turn on notifications and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That email box is open 24/7, 365. So slide on in there with your feedback, thoughts, questions, whatever you want to say in there. Just let me know. Email DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Or if you have great, vast business opportunities, or you want to send free games to the show so I can talk about them, DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Hit me up. Hit me up good. All right, full episodes of the Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. On patreon.com/DepLewisShow, twitch.tv/DepLewisShow. Go check those out. Support the Patreon if you'd like. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok if you want to see some gameplay footage with some podcast audio over it. If you want to see what I'm talking about, that's the best place to do it. And there's also full episodes on YouTube, like I said, which is very nice. If you're a big YouTuber, you can listen to the Dep Lewis Show on the tube of you. All right, so let's see what we're going to do today. We have a show for you today. This show is called the Dep Lewis Show, and this is episode 30. So we're going to talk about, in the first section, what I've been playing. I'm playing a few games. It's been a little light there this week. I've been kind of doing some other things this week, so we're just going to talk about all of it. All right, in the mid-section, we're going to talk about what I've been seeing across the video game landscape, the video game world. We're going to smoke on some mid there in the mid-section, and we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about some game releases because they are coming out. A release date was announced for a game coming out later in the year. We're going to talk about some news. There was a merger that got blocked. We're going to talk about that for a bit, and that should do it for the mid-section today. And then the last section, the miscellaneous talk section of the show, we're going to talk some sports. We're just going to dip into the worldwide world of sports. We've been talking books. We've been talking comedy, but we're just talking sports in this miscellaneous talk section. So this is going to be a classic Dep Lewis Show. All right, so welcome to the damn show. You know what we're going to do today. So let's get right into it. All right, let's go. Episode 30. So let's talk about notes from last show. All right, one thing I wanted to clear up, we talked about Dead Island 2, new multi-platform game that's been released. It looks very graphically cool, and the release date for this was 4/21/23, and you can go cop this game now for $69.99. So I just wanted to clear that up for Dead Island 2. I don't have any further thoughts on that game. I think it looks like a strong 7 out of 10 to me, just from not playing it and just from taking in some content, but the graphics look good. I don't know if there's a huge story or interesting story to pull you through, but looks like an overall fun game, and if it has some co-op, maybe that's a fun thing too. But all right, just wanted to clarify that release date. The next thing I want to clarify was brought to my attention by the great Ballness, trying not to have me slipping out here, getting certain fan bases of witches upset. So, I was calling it a coven last week for a group of witches, but it's a coven, you big dummy. So a coven. So we're going to keep that in mind, and it's actually funny. This is the first time I've seen this word or noticed it. Maybe it was, last week when I was looking it up, a coven. But I've actually seen this word at least one more time, just like in the normal world, come up. So I'm like, I've just been missing out on these covens. They've been sneaking around me. Maybe they've been casting a spell upon me, but I don't know. So I think I looked up some more details, and some people out there in the world think that 13 witches is the right amount of witches for a coven. So I don't know what you think out there. If you have any opinions, email Dep Lewis Show. Hopefully you're a friendly witch, or just using your witch powers to be good to me, but and help the Dep Lewis Show. And then the other thing I learned is the place at which they meet is generally called a covenstead. So hanging out, going to the covenstead with the coven, next weekend, and we're gonna have some drinks and cast some spells and just do our damn thing out there with the coven. So, thank you for Volnus for the clarification, making sure I don't have something in my teeth on this podcast, pretty much. And I don't want you, listener out there, to be going out in the world with the wrong information. So look out for them witches, look out for them covens, and keep it moving. All right. The next thing I want to talk about in this notes from last show, I've been wanting to do this for a few weeks, and since the baseball season started, which started actually exactly a month ago, March 30th is when it started, but I wanted to shout out the new Braves, the announcer on Bally Sports for the broadcast. He's been really great. His name is Brandon Gaudin, Gaudin, Gaudin. So Brandon Gaudin, he's been doing a great job. He's replacing Skip Carey, and it's been a nice change. I think he has a good, fresh, exciting, young perspective in the booth, and he works really well with the Hall of Famers like Glav and just all the other Braves greats that are in the booth, like Frank Gore and stuff like that. And I think he's really, really good. I think he just does a good job of keeping it light, giving you the information, and I wanted to look up some information on him because I just want to highlight these great people out there in the world. And this guy, Brandon Gaudin, has been a play-by-play broadcaster since 2016, calling MLB, NFL, and college football and basketball games. He has been the play-by-play voice on the Madden NFL franchise each year since Madden NFL 17 launched in 2016, so that's pretty badass. He was the voice of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets previously from 2013 to 2016. He went to college in Butler, then started calling minor league baseball games after. He's from Evansville, Indiana, and he grew up a Braves fan, so that's pretty cool too. I've actually been to Evansville, Indiana, I believe, one time. Just kind of random, but I've actually been there, so shout out. And he grew up a Braves fan, so you can't ask for too much more. He's been putting on a great performance, and I just wanted to highlight him today on this Notes from Last Show section of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 30. So those are the notes from last show. And so now we're going to get into the video games that I've been playing this week. So I've had a pretty slack week playing the video games, but I've been dibbling and dabbling and playing a few little things as I do, but nothing substantial. So we're just going to have a quick little breeze through on the what I've been playing section this week. But I do want to tell you I've been playing some of the Vampire Survivors. I've been playing primarily the DLC level for the Tides of the Foscari. So it's kind of like a foresty looking level. It's really fun. I like all the levels in this game. I don't have any complaints. And my only kind of thought on Vampire Survivors is, they have all these characters, they have all these levels. It's a big completion fest. You're just trying to beat these levels with each character, and I think that helps you unlock other things, but it's an unlock fest. And I just don't know how much more of the Vampire Survivors I want to do. And this is just me being an honest Vampire Survivor out here. But this game is super fun. It is fun. It was fun when I first got it, but running through these runs, a lot of times I feel a little bit samey after you play a while. So I don't know if that's just me being salty or whatever, or jaded on this game, or just over it. But you get to the 24-minute mark. You're trying to get to the 30-minute run so you can pass the level, I believe is what it is. But I've been dying around 24, 25, so obviously I'm not mastering it. But during the first 20-minute portion of that, you really do just feel like you're waiting to get to the end a little bit. So that's a little bit of a personal criticism I'm going to lay down on the Vampire Survivors, which was a highly ranked game for 2022 on the Dep Lewis Show list, Game of the Year list. But I think this is just maybe I've had my time with this game, but I need to play some more and just think about it. And I'll let you know if I have any updated thoughts on this or if my mind changes. But I've been kind of thinking this for a little bit while. I think I've even mentioned this on this show before about the I feel like I'm a guaranteed 30-minute run at this point, and I was doing that for a while on some of the early levels, and I feel like it's changed up a little bit. So I don't know, we'll just see. But Vampire Survivors, either way, I can 100% recommend that game to anyone, especially if you have $8 you want to spend on a game with 2 DLCs, and you can go cop that right now on Xbox or on Steam. If you're coming late to this podcast, which I hope you aren't, I hope you listen to every episode, every second, but I really, really like this game, so this is not a knock. This is just probably more of a, a later stage criticism of the game, just a personal thing. I've played a bunch of this game, and maybe that's just where I stand right now with my Vampire Survivors mind state, so thought I would bring that to the pod today. But the new DLC is very cool. I like the new level. I like that it's kind of a foresty kind of green level. I really like the look of that. It makes me feel good while playing it, and this game is fun. Maybe I just need to relax a little more and play it. So that'll be my advice to myself. All right, something else I've been playing. I was dipping and dabbling and diving back into this some again this week, and that's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'd like to say that I'm thinking about it. I really am, and I'm in a little bit of a holding pattern until The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out on May 12th, 2023. I go to look to check out other games. Maybe I'll pick this up, and I'm like, I'm really just waiting on the Zelda game. That's the one in everyone's purview, if that's how you use that word correctly. But it's right there. Everyone's looking at that game. They're ready for it. They got it on their calendar. And I actually happen to have the whole week off of work after there's the game comes out on Friday, and then I'm freewheeling from Saturday till the next Monday or whatever. So I'm going on a little vacation, and I'll be playing Zelda. I'll be taking my Switch, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So I'm just excited about that timing, and I think that's what has me in this little bit of a mood. But I have been playing the Breath of the Wild a little more. I think I'm farther than I've ever been in that game. I talked about my history with that in the last episode, but I've got to Zora's Domain. I have nullified the Divine Beast, or pacified him, so I can get into the dungeon. And I felt pretty proud of myself for doing that. Me and Mr. Prince Sidon, took him down. I was riding Prince's back and shooting arrows, blocking those ice, and I was using my I was actually shattering them with one of my abilities as well when I didn't want to use my arrows or I ran out. And then, I went up the waterfall with my Zora armor, popped up in the air, shot them with the shock arrows, and I really loved that section. I liked having to go get the shock arrows. You had to collect them from this mountain where this Lionel guy, who was really strong enemy, was shooting shock arrows at you, but you could pick up his empties basically on the ground, his boneyard of shotgun arrows. So you were just kind of scouring the landscape and picking them up and trying not to get killed by this guy because he was very strong, and I don't think I was strong enough to beat him. But it's been very fun. I've really just been poking back in this game, just getting prepared for Breath of the Wild. For Tears of the Kingdom. I don't have any goals for playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was just trying to get back in there and get my Zelda feet a little bit wet and just get the muscle memory coming back of playing a Zelda game. And I think it really is just hyping me up for the new release. And let's see if I have any other notes about this. I'm at the start of that new dungeon, and I've been a little bit perplexed already in that dungeon. So I was rooting around, but maybe I need to look up a guide on what to do to help me get through that, because that's been helping me out in this game a little bit. But the riding on his back, all that whole part was cool. So that's where I'm at in the Breath of the Wild. So maybe I'll report back to you, and if I could take down the Divine Beast, I guess I have to take down the dungeon portion to really say I've taken down the Divine Beast. But that would be a pretty epic accomplishment for me in this game, and we'll just see. That game's very fun. It really just has me excited for the new game. I also think that if you wanted to play Breath of the Wild and wait to play Tears of the Kingdom, I think you could totally do that. I think this game holds up perfectly well. I think it's extremely fun. I think there's tons of content. I do think by going to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm going to be missing out on some of the stuff in Breath of the Wild. Possibly if I go back, it might not be as cool, but maybe it will be exactly as cool, and you'll just appreciate it knowing it was the first game, in this particular run of Zelda games. But I don't know. But I've been back into that a little bit. I could see myself playing some more of that this week, but I have I have a lot of games rotating around right now, and I'm basically just waiting for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in May, and then the new Street Fighter 6 comes out June 2nd. So I have pretty much a huge release that I'm epically excited for, in May and June. So those are the kind of things holding me back from my video games a little bit, having me at a standstill, really salivating and waiting on these new games. But there's plenty of old stuff that, I'm kicking around with and trying, and, next week there's no telling right now. I'm in a weird state of next week. There's no telling what I'll be talking about in the what I've been playing section, but I have been picking up the sticks a little bit. I haven't played any PlayStation, but I've really been leaning, a little bit Switch heavy and, Xbox heavy these days. So we're just seeing how it goes around here on the Dep Lewis Show. So that is going to wrap up the what I've been playing section. It's been a little bit short-handed this week, so you're going to have to hear me talk on in the mid-section, in the miscellaneous talk section, a little more about the happenings of the world that I've been checking into and seeing. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some lovely music, and then we're going to come back for the mid-section of this show. So if you need to go do something, this would be a good opportunity to do it. But if not, listen to this music, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the mid-section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 30. Thank you for rejoining the show. This is the mid section where we talk about what I've been seeing around the video game world, around the video game landscape, the universe. And we got a lot of good stuff to talk about because the video game news and releases and excitement has been flooding like a mofo this year. It's been crazy out here with this video game news. And the first game we're going to talk about is something I just mentioned in the last section, and that is Street Fighter 6. This is another game where I re-downloaded Street Fighter 5 again the other day, thinking I was going to, get my muscle memory back with that game too. So it's like I'm really waiting on a lot of sequels right now. I'm waiting on the sequel to Zelda. I'm waiting on the sequel to Street Fighter. I'm just waiting on everything. I'm just sitting around here waiting on these great games to come out, and I guess it could be worse. But Street Fighter 6, I saw, this was a couple weeks back when the demo first released. I saw Nextlander and Jeff Gerstmann doing the character creator thing, and I heard Jeff Gerstmann talking about the character creator thing this week, and he was talking about how you can make the build of your character be advantageous for fighting and the hitboxes. So he was saying he would want to make a character who is short as possible with the arms as long as possible. So these guys were basically making scary looking freak guys for their characters. But it was pretty fun that they were kind of calling the character creator in Street Fighter 6 terribly awesome, where you can make a grotesque looking person and then you bring them out into the Street Fighter world and you're actually fighting with this thing. So that was pretty funny and pretty cool, and it's nice to have the options, but hopefully you can make a decent looking person if you want to, and not some kind of mishmash monster with crazy measurements of their body or whatever it may be. But this game is looking and running real smooth. I did play the demo for just a little bit, but I'm already majorly sold on this game. I just need it to release, and I want to start battling people online. One thing I heard Jeff Gerstmann saying was that Street Fighter this one's looking more focused on the whole gamut of Street Fighter people, from casuals to expert level. So Street Fighter 5 a little bit more focused on just the competitive side of things, and the game wasn't as fleshed out with single player things or stuff for more casual people to do that are just kind of more fun and not just serious fighting. So I'm hoping that is the case, because I'm definitely on the more casual side. Hold on one second. I really like playing some of the story stuff in Street Fighter, but I mainly like just doing the online battles and just loading those up and getting my ass kicked and then finally winning one and feeling like the champ kind of thing. So I like the idea of it. I do see that. I think there was something there where Street Fighter 4 was a huge success and hit in my mind, and I played the hell out of Street Fighter 4, and that's really probably my most played Street Fighter game ever. And then Street Fighter 5 I was a little bit lukewarm on. I just I have it. I never played some of it and just never got really, really too into it for some reason. But Street Fighter 6 I'm going to get into. I'm going to be hitting the streets with my fight stick, and I am going to be loving it. So let's see what else I have to say about this. That demo is out. If you want to go check that out, it was on PlayStation a few weeks ago. It's now on Xbox X and S if you want to play it. It contains an early section of the World Tour story mode, as the game introduces players to its roster of characters ahead of June's full launch. There is no time limit on playing the demo. The focus is on the game's campaign content, so it should remain live for the foreseeable future. And there is no launch of this game on Xbox One, just like Resident Evil 4 Remake. So the next gen is taking over. So if you got an Xbox One or an older, Xbox One, or even those, whatever they're called, Xbox X or a Pro, you're not going to be able to play a lot of these games going forward. A lot of these DLCs, a lot of these things being released from here on out and to infinity and beyond. So next gen is really popping, so go look for those console deals out there if you want to play some of this new stuff. Alright, so another game that is some of that new stuff is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and this release is coming, it came out April 28th, 2023, so that came out this past Friday, and people have been playing it and talking about it and reviewing it. I've been seeing a whole lot of 9 out of 10s on these reviews, so it's reviewing very well. Mr. Cal Kestis, this is a third-person galaxy-spanning action-adventure game from Respawn Entertainment, the people that created Titanfall and many other games that are amazing. It was developed in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, obviously, because it is a Star Wars property. And let's see, this game picks up 5 years after the last game. It came out Friday, 4/28/2023. It was $69.99 for the standard version. It is next gen only, so that is the thing to know. Next gen only for the Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I don't believe there's any plans at this point to bring it to the prior gen. However, I could be wrong on that, so please don't get your hopes all the way down, but I think that might be the case. This one is sounding better than the first. These are my notes from earlier in the week. Because actually, since I wrote these notes, I've been playing. I dived back into Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the initial release of this series. And I downloaded it on Game Pass, so it's available on Game Pass. And I was like, I'm going to start this and see what's up with it. So I really am playing a lot of prior releases for these new releases. I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order in anticipation of this Survivor release. I've been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild for anticipation of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And there's probably a few other examples like this that I can't think of right now. But I'm just going back. Playing that Zelda. Oh yeah, Street Fighter V. That's another one I was thinking about that I re-downloaded on my console. So I'm really just jonesing for these new games, it seems like. But I started back in that Jedi Fallen Order. That's been very fun. I think it's a cool place I think it's scratching my little Star Wars itch and my FOMO of missing out on this game. The thing I'm hearing with this Star Wars new release, the Jedi Survivor release, is there's some jank with it. Even on, a beefy PC with, really high settings and the next-gen consoles, the Series X and the PS5, this game is still having some dipping and some frame rate issues and some stuff like that. But overall, the game is reviewing pretty well and sounding good and sounding like it almost compensates for the technical downsides to it. But that, that's kind of how the original game released, and I think it seems a little bit worse on the original game for the jank, but this one's coming in with some jank. A AAA game coming in with some jank. The graphics look great in this game, that's for damn sure. You can definitely see they're pushing the next-gen boundaries, or you can see they're utilizing some of the next-gen processing power. In the new game, you have all the powers, or most from the at the start of the game. So a lot of times in games, maybe like an isekai, you'll lose your powers and you'll have to regain them as the story goes along. But this one wants you to feel like a mighty Jedi from the beginning, and I guess obviously you're going to learn some new things as it goes, or you can have some more mechanics added on top of it. But in this new game, you can customize your character with some clothing, the hairstyles, etc., etc. There's chests and things around the world that contain hairstyles and beards and things like that. So that's funny to go up to a chest and you're going to unlock a hairstyle or something like that. Another thing about this game, there's different fighting stances now for the battle, for the battling and your lightsaber battles. So kind of like Ghost of Tsushima is what I was relating it to. But I think there's like 5 or 6 different stances that I guess will help you accomplish different things in battle. And, will be advantageous to certain styles that you're fighting. So that's a pretty cool element to the battling right there. And that was definitely pretty fun in Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think there was that many stances, or that many stances I had unlocked at that point or something. But it was a cool mechanic in the game. And then, if you want to play, if you want to, get a taste of it, if you think you're going to like this game, I think it's a great idea to go play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and especially if you have Game Pass, you can just go hit the install right now. I think it was around a 50 gig download, and you're just going to, if you don't know about all the, the new mechanics at the start of the second game, you're having all the powers from the first, you're not really going to feel too left out on playing the first one. So I think that's a good idea if you want to see if you're into the series before you go drop the $70 on it. I think this game was running for $63 on the digital store for Xbox. So it looks like it was a little bit on sale. I don't know if that comes with a caveat. It does say, it mentions their EA Play, but it also gives you the price. So I don't know. I don't know if you have Game Pass, you get EA Play, but this game might be a little bit off on the Xbox digital store. So look there first if you're wanting to go buy this right away. But it's seeming pretty good for some third-person action, especially if you like Star Wars. I think they're doing it really right. The first things I've noticed from playing the original game just recently, the lightsaber play feels really good. I love hitting the laser bullet ricochet back to the stormtroopers and killing them. The swinging of the lightsaber feels good. There's, a nice roll mechanic, and you can use the force to slow people down. So the combat's seeming really, really fun. So I think this is going to be a pretty cool game that a lot of people are going to like. So we will see. Maybe I'll play the some Star Wars Jedi Survivor later in the year, possibly when things slow down a little bit. But another game, let's see. Talking about Zelda, I got some Tears of the Kingdom notes here, so I'm just kind of getting ready for these releases. People have been playing this game, so people have got their hands on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom recently. Some lucky gamers out there. Not the Dep Lewis Show, but there's no news I'd like to report here, really. This game's looking great. Lots of people are playing this. I'm not really hearing any disappointing things or negative things coming out from the media about this game. And there's lots of video out there if you want to go see it. So please go check out the Zelda content. Please go play some Breath of the Wild if you're trying to prepare just like me. And if you've never beaten Breath of the Wild, there's tons of content there to go play and go see and go explore. So it might be a good time to try to crunch some of that before Tears of the Kingdom, just so you can get some more Zelda in your brain. And I think that's pretty good advice out here. But just wanted to highlight that game's coming May 12th, 2023. That's the thing that everyone in the video game world is waiting for, and the Dep Lewis Show is included in that. All right, so let's talk about a game that's coming out in August. We got a release date for this. This game is going to come out on August 25th, 2023 for PC via Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S, and that is Armored Core 6, The Fires of Rubicon. There was an official gameplay reveal and release date trailer that you should go watch. It was one of the cooler video game things I saw this week. It was like a 2 or 3 minute trailer, and it was really, really awesome. Had some good music, had some good action, had some good robots, and it really just makes you want to get in there and see what this game has to offer. This is a mech-based action game being developed by From Software. You know, the Elden Ring and Dark Souls fame and Demon Souls guys, and Sekiro, and just pretty amazing. This is the latest game. Latest in the studio's long-running series of Armored Core. A little bit of back-of-the-box talk on Armored Core 6. It's set on a distant planet, Rubicon 3. There, humanity found a new energy source, which could dramatically increase its technological capabilities. However, the substance instead caused a cataclysmic event, engulfing the entire star system in flames. After its rediscovery, a half-century later, humanity once again attempts to gain control over this mysterious resource. The player controls an independent mercenary piloting one of the titular, and that word gets me. I think that's how you say it, though. The titular. It's not the titular, definitely the titular, but it feels wrong saying it like that. TITULR Armored Cores, taking on jobs from extraterrestrial mega corporations and opposing resistance groups. So sounding very epic, very cool, very futuristic, very robot-like, very mechanical. And I think that's going to be very fun with the combat and the battling system, and you're going to be trying to hit very specific things on the targets, and they're going to be trying to hit specific things on your mech, and it's going to take down specific things that in your arsenal. And I think it's going to be very fun and very strategic and very quick and very I think the gameplay is going to be very hectic and crazy and cool. So this game is looking very neat. I think you should go watch this trailer. That would be the Dep Lewis Show episode 30 recommendation of the week, is to go watch the Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon official gameplay reveal and release date trailer. I don't have any Armored Core history besides having some friends that really like it, but this is something I want to jump into, especially since I appreciate From Software's games a whole lot more these days that I've started playing and trying some of them. I really appreciate what they're doing, and they're very awesome. I think they're an outstanding developer, so I'll definitely be giving this game a chance. I think it coming out in August is a good some good timing, because like I was saying, I got a big May game coming out, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, a big June game coming out, Street Fighter 6. I believe we get Starfield in September, so we'll get this Armored Core 6 a little bit before Starfield, so I think that'll be a good reason to drop some cash in August, and go check it out. Armored Core 6 looking very, very cool out there in the world. It's nice to see getting some video and getting a release date and all that kind of stuff. Alright, so the last thing we're going to talk about is some news. This is something I heard Nextlander talk about, and this was obviously big news in the video game world last week. And the UK has blocked Microsoft Activision merger. So, Dep Lewis Show, we talk video games here. We don't always talk business things. We're talking, some silly sports, some silly comedians. But this topic, we're getting into some hard-hitting news out here in the Dep Lewis Show street. So, bear with me as we go through this. I'm just trying to bring the information to you and to your ears and give you, my little bit of thoughts on it, and as I suss it out as well. So, just take it for what it is. But here, we're going to go through it. We're going to get some serious news on the Dep Lewis Show. So the UK antitrust regulator has blocked Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. The Competition and Markets Authority, which they seem like they got some decent sway over there, if you know what I mean, because they mentioned them a few times, and they're kind of adhering and doing what this Competition and Market Authority says. And they are worried that the deal would lead to reduced innovation. This is the quote, reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. So that is what they are fearing, or what they are worrisome, whether they are enacting this blockage to hopefully achieve. This acquisition is worth $69 billion and would make Microsoft even stronger in cloud gaming, which it already holds, according to this one thing I read, 60 to 70% of the market share globally. So Microsoft is really betting on the cloud gaming, and they are trying to push it further as time goes on. Activision Blizzard is one of the biggest devs in the world with games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo. They have the pending release of, or not, I guess you don't say pending. Well, yeah, it's a pending release of Diablo 4. It comes out June 5th, 2023 for $69.99. And then, Overwatch is another series from Activision Blizzard as well. But the Competition and Markets Authority said Microsoft could seek to make Activision's games exclusive to its own platforms and then increase the cost of Game Pass subscription. So they're looking out for the consumer here is what they are attempting to do. They don't want Microsoft to, have the full control over all these things. And, it's a $69 billion acquisition. That is not a slight number. So they are buying up a giant company that produces giant things and successful things. And these are some high level, things going on here. But let's see here. So there's another quote thing I read. Microsoft already enjoys a powerful position and head start over other competitors in cloud gaming. And this deal would strengthen that advantage, giving it the ability to undermine new and innovative competitors. Cloud gaming needs a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice, is what this quote said. So I don't know what I think here. I don't know if you can obviously control these things all the time. I guess regulating them is a tough discussion of how much you should regulate, if you should regulate at all. And I guess that is the discussion here. But people always just say follow the money, and I don't know. I think we'll see this deal go through somehow, and just my most amateur rookie-ish knowledge as I read through this a little bit. But who knows? But something interesting to follow. I'll be keeping up with this news because this is going to be this is definitely pending some pending news of a $69 billion transaction going through. So pretty important to the video game world, and we will see. I don't have strong feelings on cloud gaming. This is probably just because it's too early, but I'm not a fan of cloud gaming. I would rather just have the game downloaded and run directly to my monitor or screen or whatever. I can't get over I have no need for the lag that cloud gaming offers. I don't really see, just from my vantage point where I live and how the stuff I have and the technology I use. I don't think I'm a huge I don't think I'm the focus for cloud gaming. I think this is people who don't want to buy a console, who don't have necessarily access to a lot of things. Maybe they're, I don't know. I just don't think it's for me. I would run a game offline before playing in cloud gaming just because I want it to run properly. But and I don't have a great need for, having like a Netflix style subscription where I can just play cloud games. I have too many games already to play, and I'm keeping up with purchases. So I just don't know. But I think if cloud gaming in the future is, if you can't tell if it's one-to-one in the future, it's going to be obviously very cool. So that's why they're working towards this. And I bet there's a lot of opportunities there and, even useful things to the consumer with that. But, I don't know. I think this is, these people have a very forward looking sight on this cloud gaming stuff. And I guess that's why this merger is being scrutinized so much. And there's pretty interesting stuff out there in the video game world. So, with all these fun games and all these cool graphics and releases and release dates and DLCs and silly ass things in video games, there's a lot of big business that goes on along with it, and this is an example of that. So the video games are moving some units out there, making some people some money, making some people some dollars, and making the Dep Lewis Show have a great time every week playing and discussing them. So pretty cool. That's all I want to say about that. That's the Dep Lewis Show spin on the blocked merger. But let's see if there's anything else I gotta say. Yeah, I'm not loving the cloud gaming. I like cloud saves. I think cloud saves are great. And the last thing in there was Microsoft and Activision plan to appeal. So more news to come there. And just, keep your ears to the street. And if you got $70 billion, maybe you can swoop in and close the deal. So we'll see. All right, so that's going to wrap up the midsection of the show this week. We talked about Street Fighter 6 coming out. I believe it's June 2nd, 2023. You can go play the demo right now. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is officially released. It came out 4/23/2023. No, yeah, 4/28/2023. My apologies, Dep Lewis Show listeners. You can go play that game right now. Armored Core 6 got a release date, August 25th, 2023. And it's coming out on PC via Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. There's a lot of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom content out there right now. That game is coming in less than 2 weeks, so people are getting actually played out there on the streets. People are media outlets and reviewers and things like that. So there's plenty of coverage. You can see some video. There's plenty of discussion if you want to get some Zelda talk and some Zelda news. So go seek that out. And then we talked about the UK blocking the Microsoft Activision merger. So pretty big news there. And that is going to wrap up the mid section of the show this week. We smoked on all the mid that we can handle. And we're going to take another break. And we're going to come back for the miscellaneous talk section. And we're just going to talk some sports today. We're going to go back to our roots. Talk about the worldwide world of sports. So, please go take a quick break. Go do whatever you need to do. And then the Dep Lewis Show, the miscellaneous talk section of episode 30. We'll be right back in just a second. Welcome back to the miscellaneous talk section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 30. Thank you for rejoining the show. Hope you enjoyed that small, tiny break with some wonderful music. Now we're going to talk about the worldwide world of sports. We're going to talk about just some sports here in this section today. And we got some good stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. The official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Carolina Panthers, have made the first pick of the NFL draft on 4/27/2023. And Bryce Young is officially a Carolina Panther. Hooray, hooray, hooray. He was taken with the number 1 pick. Last time this happened was Cam Newton. Let's see, I got some notes. His new jerseys are available for pre-order right now on Fanatics for $130 in the correct hue of blue. Too fresh. The Panthers have slightly tinted the hue of blue on their jerseys to be correct. Nike now has the correct hue available, so they are releasing some new jerseys at the perfect time where we get a new franchise quarterback. I did see you can cop the blue jerseys or the black jerseys. They have the updated ones on the store right now. You can cop Bryce Young's jersey, which we don't know what jersey number he will be yet. Or you can go cop J.C. Horn, the number 8 jersey, which looks very sick. So I think I'll be picking one of these up at some point, probably closer to when the season starts. And maybe I'll cop a Bryce Young jersey. So I'm excited about this number 1 pick. This happened on 4/27/2023. Let's see. I got some. Yeah, he hasn't confirmed his jersey number yet. His college number, he went to Alabama. His number was number 9. I think that would be a cool number for him to have, but I believe Matt Corral right now is on the roster, and he has that number. So Matt Corral is the later round quarterback we took last year who got injured, and we haven't really got to see him play yet. But another young guy we got on the squad who can throw the ball. But I would guess that, I don't know, Matt Corral's been in some, maybe they'll get him out of town and, ship him to a new home or somewhere where he can get some opportunity. He's kind of hinted Matt Corral has a little bit too that he wants that, but nothing official. But I think this jersey number thing will work itself out. But Bryce Young, he is 21 years old. He is 5 feet 10 inches tall, 204 pounds. So that is the one worry about everyone in the world, saying that he is too small to play quarterback. But he has been playing quarterback, and he played quarterback at the highest level at Alabama. So I'm hoping that is going to be a moot point. He went to college at Alabama, like I just said, and was born in Pennsylvania, but grew up in California. And I watched a highlight reel of him the other night on YouTube, and the things I noticed from that is he seems elusive, and it does seem like he can really throw the ball. I think his elusiveness stood out the most. Him being kind of slithery around the pocket and avoiding defenders coming at him, and his legs move very quickly. And so I like what I see, and I'm excited to see him play, and I hope he'll be ready to go week 1 because I really want to see him hit the ground running. A lot of people call him the Steph Curry of football. And, Steph Curry was even shouting him out online because Steph Curry is a Panthers fan. So the Steph Curry of football is in good company, I would say. And, just really cool. It's an exciting time to be a Panthers fan, even though they're picking, they traded up to get the first pick. But they were a fringe playoff team last year. They were knocking at the door. But I think they made some good offseason decisions. And I am more hopeful going into this season than last season. And it's nice to have the rookie quarterback, who's a big deal. So I'm happy for it. So Bryce Young, welcome to Panther Town, and just an exciting day for the Panthers fans. So hooray! They had the stadium I saw had a draft party, and then the day after, the draft was Thursday night, and then there was a welcome thing for him at the stadium at noon the next day. So they sent the jet to get Bryce and brought him to town, and he was at the stadium and people were out there cheering for him. So pretty cool and exciting time, and it'll be fun come football season to see how these Panthers are doing. And you might see me around in one of those new jerseys because they're really, really cool looking. But we'll see. So those are just for pre-order right now for the Bryce Young. So go out and pre-order them if you want. But we don't know when they're shipping yet. So I'll probably wait until I get some more confirmation on when they would ship, because I like knowing that stuff. All right, so the rest of the draft for the Panthers, the things that I noted were they had pick number 39, I believe it was, and they took Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. He's a wide receiver. He's 22 years old, 6'2", and 226 pounds. I like that they're adding some more weapons, and this is a young weapon that can grow along with Bryce Young, and hopefully they can have a good connection. And just another thing I'm excited for with the Panthers right now, and they also drafted a new edge rusher from Oregon, I believe it was. They traded 2 picks to consolidate to 1 and move up a little bit, and they got a new edge rusher. So I think that could be nice to have some fresh blood across from Brian Burns going at the quarterback. I think that's very useful. And then, I've been saying the Panthers need to extend Brian Burns every week on this podcast for a long time. I want them to give him the contract extension, make him the highest paid edge rusher in the league, give him the big bag of money, make him a Panther for a long time, at least, 5 years or whatever it is. And I saw a comment from the GM, I think just this morning, where he was saying that, Brian had his ankle surgery over the summer, but he should be back for all regular football activities, day one. And he was saying that, Brian's a leader and he's going to be around, but, they need to put their money where their mouth is what I would say to the Panthers, and pay that man. He needs the money, and us Panthers fans want the security of knowing that he's going to be around and be our guy, because he's amazing, and it's going to be hurtful to see him on another team. So go pay that man his money, Mr. David Tepper. But other than that, you're doing a great job out there right now, in my opinion. In the humble, worldwide, world-famous Dep Lewis Show opinion. That's what I would say. All right, so let's move on to the worldwide world of NBA basketball. And the official team of the Dep Lewis Show, or one of the official teams, the Atlanta Hawks. They were in the playoffs, and now they are no longer in the playoffs. They have been knocked out by the Boston Celtics. Let's see. Yeah. Did they win Sunday versus Celtics? Yes, they did. They were down 2-1 before that game. Trey hit the 3 at the end to go up 2 and close it out. He was doing the ice-cold Ice Trey shiver. It was, Atlanta was back on the map. We were happy. And then Thursday night, it was win or go home, and the Hawks decided to go home. So they go home, they go fishing. It was a decent game, but the Hawks fell apart at the end. They couldn't even get the ball inbounds at the end. It was very embarrassing. I don't think I've ever seen something that bad, where they kept having to throw it off the inbounding defender's legs, and they couldn't even get a good shot, and it was just kind of really sad way to end the game and end the season. But there was some positives there, I guess. I think the roster needs some tweaking, but I don't know. I don't think the Hawks are getting to the mountaintop with this certain exact setup. I like the new coach. I think that's a great direction. I think Trey was looking a little bit better in this series. They had their exit interviews, which seemed positive for the team. Trey had a shirt rep in Georgia on, which was nice to see. It seems like most of the players were giving props and talking up Quinn Snyder in those exit interviews, which was nice, and I think that's good to see. I think it'll be nice to give them an off season to prepare and learn each other and mesh and groove and really have Quinn Snyder got thrown in there. I think it was even more than halfway through the season, so that's very not typical. And they gave him a big commitment. I think he's here for 5 or 6 years, so they got some work to do. And I think next year, if we're in the same kind of position, I think that'll be a real big question mark. So I don't know. I think my advice would be to have some mild roster tweaks. Maybe you draft a cool guy, or and I think you need to do a little consolidation. I think I've said consolidation twice on this podcast now, but I think you need to take some of these pieces. Not that they're bad, but you need to get them out of town so some other guys can step up, kind of thing. Some of the younger guys, some of the people maybe with some more upside or ceiling. But I don't know. But let's see. So the playoffs are still going on. Maybe I'm cheering for the Celtics now is my thought on the East, but I don't know if I would cheer for them over LeBron and the Lakers. So I'm probably going for the Lakers now, and I'm probably not going to actually keep up with the NBA too much anymore, because there's no Hawks and there wasn't even a chance at the Hornets, one of my new favorite teams. But I'll be back as an NBA fan next year, and I'll be keeping up with some of the news through the playoffs and the finals, so you'll be hearing me talk about some of that. But other than that, you're not going to be hearing much talk about the Atlanta Hawks or the Charlotte Hornets for a little while, unless there's some crazy news or when the draft hits. But so just shout out to those teams for providing me a lot of great entertainment. That's the main thing I would like to say to them, and go get them next year. There's always next year. That's the most common sports fan phrase ever. There's always next year. All right. But now we're going to get down to the official sport of the Dep Lewis Show. And the official, which is Major League Baseball, and the official team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Atlanta Braves. And did they beat the Astros Sunday to not get swept last week? No, they got swept. The Braves were up 2-0, and the Astros caught up near the end and went for a run. The Braves threatened but couldn't get it back Saturday. The Astros are for real, and I will put them on the for real list. So that might be something I keep throughout the year of teams that I think, I'm not scared of any of these teams because I got full faith in the Atlanta Braves. But there's, some other teams out there that I think are for real, and I think the Astros could be one of those. And obviously they swept the Braves over the weekend, so that was not nice. But the Braves got the Marlins this week, this past week, which was nice. They could rack some wins up. So they beat the Marlins Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They lost to the Marlins Thursday. And they've had the Mets this weekend, and it's just been a whole rain fest up there in New York or whatever. Up there at, I guess they play at Citi Field is what it's called. I should know that. But the Friday night game, the Braves were up 4-0, and then the rain delay hit. Rain delay hit yesterday. I don't know if they're going to get the game today, and it's Sunday. I think it's a 1 o'clock, 1:10 start or something. And then there's actually a game Monday at 1:10, so it's been a little bit weird for the Braves this weekend. It was going great early in the week watching those Marlins beatdowns, and then they lost to the Marlins Thursday, and then it's been rainy. So not too much to report from the Braves besides Kyle Wright is back. That was one nice thing to see. He pitched against the Marlins. Money Mike came back Friday night against the Mets. I didn't really get to see him play because I missed the early part of that game. But I love Money Mike being back. I have him in fantasy baseball, and I have reactivated the Money Man Mike back to my team. But yeah, there's a bunch of rain delays, so I'm over that. I'm hoping next week will be a more enjoyable baseball watching week, more opportunity to watch the baseball. It looks like next week the Braves have the Marlins again at the Marlins, and then they'll be home versus the Orioles. So they're gonna have some division games, and they're gonna go across the league to the American League and play at the Orioles. So that's pretty fun. It's nice to see those kind of matchups happen because you don't always get to see them. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about, since last week, public enemy number one of the baseball world for the Dep Lewis Show is Mr. Yordan Alvarez, Mr. Air Yordan, and I'm gonna say he's my if there's a for real list of teams, I'm giving props to. This is like a for real list of players, but it's going to be like a list of players. I'm saying they stink and I don't like them, but that's just being a little bit, I guess you'd say tongue-in-cheek or whatever. But Mr. Yordan Alvarez, he is a 25-year-old left fielder. He bats left, he throws right. He bats left, he throws right. He signed a 6-year, $115 million deal with the Astros, including a $5 million signing bonus and $115 of that million guaranteed. So he has an average salary of $19 million. So I'd say that's pretty good for Mr. Yordan Alvarez. So, this hate that I'm giving him and this talk is really stinging him right now. I know it is. I know he hates being the enemy of the Dep Lewis Show and public enemy number one in Major League Baseball for messing with my Atlanta Braves. But he had 37 homers last year and 33 the year prior. And he had 97 and 104 RBIs those respective seasons too. So he can ball, this guy. And unfortunately, he balls against the Braves. He's from Las Tunas, Cuba. He's won a World Series. He's nicknamed Air Jordan. And, I got to say to him, boo, boo, you, Yordan Alvarez, boo, 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 boo. Bring out the boo birds for this man. And it looks like he's going to be with the Astros through 2028. So, whatever. Be nice to the Braves, Mr. Yordan Alvarez. That's all I got to say. And, I just wish the Braves all the best. That's all I got to say. I love you, Atlanta Braves. You're the official team of the Dep Lewis Show. Keep shining out there. And I hope all these guys keep getting healthy on the team and coming back. And Ronald Acuna Jr., you're number one to me in the sports universe. I just want to say that again out there so everyone knows it. The Dep Lewis Show is the biggest Ronald Acuna Jr. fan in the world. That's our favorite player of all sports. So shout out Ronnie and shout out the rest of the Braves and just shout out everything out in the sports world. And shout out to the end of this episode 30 because that is going to wrap it up for today. So thank you, loyal listeners, for listening to this show every week. You're the best listeners in the world because you listen to this video game news, you listen to my random ramblings, you listen to my sports talk. And I really appreciate it, and I hope you get some great information from this podcast each week and some great perspective. And that is what I'm here to do. And let's just think, and let's talk for a second here. So next week we're going to have a show. It's going to be a great show as usual. Episode 31 will be next week's episode. And then episode 32 is the question mark because I'm going out of town. So that is the 12th is a Friday. That's the release of Zelda. And then the 13th, I go out of town, and I have the whole week off after that. So from 2 episodes from now, it could either be a pre-recorded, like an extra pre-recorded podcast. It could be possibly a short podcast. It could be a podcast released on kind of a wonky day that week. Or I guess, option X would be to not have a podcast. But I'm just bringing that up for you so you can be aware that there's going to be something a little different, most likely, that week. But you never know. I could pre-record and release it. I think that's the most likely event to happen is the podcast will just be at an odd time that week. So, I'm dedicated to bringing these video game news to you each week. I love looking it up and talking about it, but I have this trip going on. I got a lot of stuff going on, so there's going to be things like that over the course of the Dep Lewis Show history that happens, and just wanted to make you aware of it a little bit beforehand, but it should not be too big of a deal. And that's going to wrap up the show today. So the Miscellaneous Talk section, we talked about the Panthers, we talked about the Hawks, we talked about the Braves. Shout out to Bryce Young for being a new Panther. Panthers should go extend Brian Burns, and then shout out to Ronald Acuna Jr. for being my favorite player in the world. All right, so that is going to wrap up the show today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to play some more video games this week. Probably play more than I did this prior week, and I'll have some more to talk to you about. I'm going to hopefully watch some more Braves this week is the plan, and I hope you have a great week out there as well. I hope things go very positive for you, and if you'd like to help out the Dep Lewis Show even more than you already do, please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Clips of the show are on YouTube and TikTok. And just thank you so much for listening to the show. If you'd like the extra support, go to patreon.com/DepLewisShow and subscribe to the ground floor tier. It's $1 a month. It's just the general support tier. There's 100 available slots, and that price will never, ever change, even if there's more tiers or more content added to the Dep Lewis Show Patreon in the future. So just so you know, the best investment you can make out there in the entertainment, video game, podcast, sports news world, in my humble opinion. So just thank you so much for listening to this show. As always, I'll be back next week for episode 31. And this was another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. See you next week.